All right, here we go. I hope you're ready. Something I wasn't planning on seeing this weekend happened in the great state of Canada. Yes, our neighbors to the north. Turn that music down. Yeah, thank you. Our neighbors to the north did something weird, and for some reason, everyone's trying to cover for them. And we'll get to that and much more later. I'm glad you're here. Happy Monday. And someone said something about the music, about it not being metally enough. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what you're talking about. You want it, it's Metal Monday, right? All right, fine, this is closer. Well, let's try something else, even. Turn this shitty music off. What are you talking about? It's Metal Monday. This is what I do on Mondays. On Monday, it's metal, and Friday, it's funk. Because I run the gamut. I go both ways. And, wait, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, it's Metal Monday on the Morning Night Live. Get used to it. It's what I do. In fact, here, let me hit you with a little of this. So anyway, should we start the show? Maybe we should start the show. Okay, let's do that. All right, Johnny, stop that. And would you be kind to play the intro?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Can I get a hell yeah? Oh, what is going on here? Anyway, stop the music. Good damn morning to you, America and beyond. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel. Is there echo? That's weird. What's that? Why is it so echoey? I don't understand. I didn't change any settings. Anyway, happy Monday, the 25th of September, 2023. And today, we got, well, first of all, for my Jewish friends, wishing you a good holiday of Yom Kippur, Day of Atonement, right? Is that the one? I'm not Jewish. I don't know my Jewish holidays, but I have Jewish friends who celebrate this, who are fasting for this 25-hour period that is Yom Kippur, and just planning and well, I guess it's you also basically think about your transgressions and whatnot, and basically just a day of introspection. I was going to say inner perspective, that too. So those are my Jewish friends. Now something that in honor of the high holiday of Yom Kippur, and also the high holidays, which is the holiday season for our Jewish friends, the Canadian government did something that I thought was totally appropriate. I mean, just perfect timing for the high holidays. And we'll get to that in a little bit. I'm sure y'all heard about it, but I didn't see it till this morning, so I'm going to talk about it this morning. I was like, oh my God, talk about a little problem with the optics of what happened, and then it's not just that, it's how certain entities have been kind of disguising what the Canadian government did. I mean, it's amazing. And I promise to get to that. That's part of the show. Also, we're going to update on Dave Portnoy's Pizza Fest, which I'll just give you a hint. It turned out really well. But there's some follow-up to the story we did on Friday about Dave Portnoy. So we'll get to that and much more after I say good morning to everybody. First, the chat over on Rumble. By the way, Rumble's in a little bit of a controversy right now, too. We'll get to that, too. It's amazing how the powers that be have find ways to get rid of the gadflies, or attempt to get rid of the gadflies. But I think he's making the gadflies stronger. He, them, whatever, they, theirs. And they're making the gadflies stronger. And we'll get to that one, too. First, say hi to everybody, though. First in chat over on Rumble. Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Good morning, sir. Also, good morning, our friend Jimmy Das Hotep, Hotep Nation. And Mr. Mike Savage. Blarg. Okay, and to the other 3 people watching a Rumble, hi to you too. Say hi in the chat. On YouTube, first in chat. Also, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Johnny on the spot. Watching on 2 platforms. Watching 2 chats, just like I do. By the way, you know you can watch more than 1 chat while you're watching this show. You can always pop out the chat from both YouTube and Rumble. That's what I do. And I was gonna start doing a locals chat too, because that would be the totally uncensored chat. But I don't have enough people watching anyway. So when we get more people, I might do an uncensored chat where you can really let go. Because even on Rumble, I think, well, I don't know if Rumble, because there's no replay on the Rumble chat. It's there and it's gone. But my YouTube chat is, it plays with the replay of the show, and they have little censors out there. There's Russian bots and whatnot trying to make sure that you don't say things that are against the World Economic Forum and shit like that. So you don't want to, you got to be careful over there, where you don't have to be so careful on locals or even Rumble. Rumble's pretty good about that too. Anyway, also in the chat is Somnambule Nation, who has already tweeted out the show. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate that. Share the stream. That's the number 1 thing you can do for me right now. Good morning also. GDSOB, who was complaining about the music. It's Metal Monday, dude. Come on now. You've been around here long enough to know that. Also, good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep, Hotep Nation. Also, JB's in the house. Lord Stanhope, Reaction Puerto Rico. By the way, we're going to play a video that he sent me today. Thank you, sir, by the way. Good morning, Special K on Acid, Lord Stanhope. Let's see. I already got Mike. Did I say Mike? No, Mike Savage, Blarg. And who else is down here? I'm scrolling. The Grand Inquisitor, Mr. Tyre Alexander. Thank you. Good morning, Tyre. Also, who else is down here? Is that everybody? Oh, Bishop's in the house. What up, Bishop? Nice to see you. Selected Boys in the house too. It just takes me a while because I get to my mouth running and y'all are talking and I forget. Good morning, John Arnott. Wave to you too, sir. Good morning, Jesse Leon. Woodcut is in the house, and that's everyone who's in the chat so far. Rumble is where I can say all the really nasty shit because no one can see it later. Yeah, exactly. You can get away with it, but when I start opening up that locals chat, you can really. I mean, look, I am offended by some things, but I don't care. You know what? Here's the thing. If you offend me, I just laugh about it. I don't care. You throw out, bad words and stupid shit. I don't care. Talk good about me, talk bad about me. I don't care as long as you're talking about me. All right. Chauncey Stewart's in the house. Good morning, sir. All right. Shall we get into some things here? Let's get into some things. Oh, no. Let's not get into some things. I am going to implore you. Please share this stream somewhere. That's for the next, I'll say 30 something days or so. I'm asking you to share the stream. Please share the stream. We are, I want to grow the channel, and I'm making that a priority now. And again, we're doing more shorts videos. We're doing stuff over on Marty's Big Journey. We're doing all kinds of new stuff just to get to get it going. I've been floundering here at just under 2,000 for too long, and I want to grow the channel. So we'll see what happens. You guys can help me share the stream, and we'll do that. All right. So anyway, oh, you just realized the joke in the title. You got it, huh? Yes, I was being clever this morning. I don't know if anyone noticed, but we'll talk about the title and everything that's going on with that. Okay, so let's do that. So let's get into just some real basic news first, and then we'll get into the main topics and keep going. Now, the Washington Post, which some like to call the Washington Compost, over the weekend had a poll on the upcoming presidential race, and I think the poll rattled them a little bit. because they seem to be disavowing their own poll. This is weird. And look, let's be honest. This poll very well may be an outlier. But, and the other part of this too, I laugh because I keep seeing people on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. They keep saying that if Donald Trump wins the presidency, that will be the end of democracy. Now, before I get into the poll, that's an unusual statement to me because the only way Donald Trump could win the presidency in our representative republic is if he won the election, right? And the other part of that is too, how would it be the end of democracy in our representative republic when our representative republic has 3 branches of government? And honestly, there's no great, in theory, our president office in the United States of America doesn't necessarily hold all the cards. They can't make all the rules. They can't, now you'd be surprised that that's the case if you hear some of the executive order shit that Biden is doing and other presidents have been doing. And even Trump to a small extent, although he spent a lot more time rescinding executive orders, but he played around with the rules a little bit. But our president in our country doesn't have that much power. They can't end democracy. You would have to have the entire Congress decide to change the Constitution. It's so hard to change our rules in this country. At least you'd hope, other than sicking the Justice Department on your enemies, right? But anyway, the Washington Post is a little rattled about this poll because their poll showed Trump up by 10 over Biden. It's just wild. Now, look. So here's the Daily Caller article. The Washington Post and then the Washington Post disavowed their own poll. The Washington Post cast doubt on its own poll with ABC News that showed former President Donald Trump up by 10 points over his likely rival, President Joe Biden, in the 2024 presidential contest. In that poll, Trump leads Biden 52-42 in a hypothetical general election matchup, according to the Post. The outlet suggested that giving other polling showing a closer race, its own poll is, quote, probably an outlier and appeared to cast doubt on the sample. So, look, that's probably true. Okay, it's probably an outlier that Trump would be up by 10 points over Biden, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe they've been in, maybe they did some polling in New York City where there's a major immigrant crisis, as opposed to the one in Texas. Or maybe they're starting to see that the brothers are starting to say, hey, FJB, right? Good morning, Rick Ashbringer. How you doing? So anyway, the Post ABC poll shows Biden trailing Trump by 10 percentage points at this early stage in the election cycle, although the sizable margin of Trump's lead in this survey is significantly at odds with other polls that show the general election contest a virtual dead heat, the Post wrote. The difference between this poll and others, as well as the unusual makeup of Trump and Biden's coalitions in this survey, suggests it's probably an outlier. That's the Washington Post poo-pooing their own poll. Now, when do they ever poo-poo their own polls? Well, whenever someone they don't like is leading. That's when they do it. So anyway, Trump is up 3 points and Biden down 3 points from an ABC poll Post poll conducted in February. ABC reported, based on these incremental shifts, ABC concluded that the change in the most recent poll is not statistically significant. Yeah, well, that it seems significant to me, and I'm sure, here's the thing. It doesn't matter as long as Trump doesn't take this as something that he's way in the lead, because, Trump is really doesn't care about polls, right? Anyway, heads exploding at Jeff Bezos' Amazon Washington Post as President Trump now leads Joe Biden nationally by 10 points after having led by 6 points in May. So but really, the other part of this, look, when the Washington Post says, oh, this isn't a significant swing, or the ABC said it was not statistically significant. It absolutely is. Look, when your margin of error is probably around 3% for these polls, And now you go from 6 to 10-point jump in a poll. That is statistically significant, unless you're saying it's not significant because the margin of error was already out of the margin of error. So I don't know. I don't care about polls at this point. I care about the only poll that matters is in November 2024. And who knows the shenanigans they're going to go on to get Trump out of the paint during that time. So, it's great. And me, I'm not a Trump guy. I'll damn well vote for Trump over Joe Biden. But then, I would vote for Doug Burgum over Joe Biden. I'd vote for Vivek Ramaswamy over Joe Biden. I'd even vote for Nikki Haley over Joe Biden. I'm not voting for Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or any other Democrat in the next cycle. I've made that mistake one time voting for a Democrat for president. Of course, it wasn't a mistake because I live in a state where your vote doesn't matter if you're on the right. However, even in my state of Minnesota, the sentiment is shifting, and this is one of those states that the Democrats are changing voting laws and doing all this shit. They hope that works to make it bulletproof for Democrats, but I don't know if that's going to work. Outstate Minnesota, I was up at my daughter's place up in just slightly north of the Twin Cities, about 40 miles to New York City, Twin Cities, where they bought a home. And you go up there and it's a small town outside of the suburb, the contiguous suburbs, and you drive through town and there's FJB signs on the sides of garages and shit. I mean, it's amazing how you get out of the Twin Cities and it is all Trump, other than Duluth, the Twin Cities, and Rochester, which is a big, where the Mayo Clinic and stuff is. Anywhere else in the state, outstate Minnesota has become completely red. And that's unheard of 20 years ago. This entire state this is the state that voted for Joe Mondale for president. Of course, Mondale has Minnesota connections, but still, it used to be just solid blue in Minnesota. Not so much anymore. A lot of the outer ring suburbs of the Twin Cities are Republican strongholds. Most of the outer ring suburbs, like where I live, it's goes back and forth, Republican, Democrat. Nobody wants Joe Biden to be president again. And one of the other polls says, even among Democrats, most Democrats don't care who the nominee is as long as it's not Joe Biden. In fact, anybody but Biden beats out Kamala Harris and any of the other possibilities in the Democratic Party. So people are seeing it. I mean, this is Jimmy Carter 2.0 by far. So anyway, we have our first sponsor of the day. Chicago Mike's on the board. Thank you, sir, for getting me towards that 2,000 by the end of next month, which I'm pushing because I need to get caught up in the bills, and this will help me do it. Thank you, Chicago Mike. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day, starting out with the Feminist $12. If you're not familiar with the Feminist $12, you can go to Randy Monkey Stream and figure out what that means. I'll tell you in a second. Chicago Mike says, "Hey, hi P-Dog. The start to your post-OP fund. No work." Thank you. Post-op. I don't know why I said post-OP. Because I just made by the way, go follow Marty's Big Journey too. All I do there is tell dad jokes and show you beautiful scenery from places we've been. But I had one that has the music, OPP. You know with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You know with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You know that song? And that's why I was like reading it OP and I was waiting for the second P. Anyway, thank you for just dropping the Feminist $12 into the post-op fund. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that, sir. And then the Feminist $12 thing. There was some, what was it? Was it Feminista? If you're not familiar with Feminista, it's a online, propaganda rag that was going under, and they said, we just need, if everyone could just donate $12 to Feminista, So there was a joke about the feminist $12. So I greatly appreciate that, Chicago Mike. All right. Moving on, let's talk about the next thing on here. Other things that just happen to be trading. Oh, speaking of Minnesota. Oh, wait, hang on. I got a couple. I haven't done my thank yous yet. Let me do some thank yous here. First, thank you, Somnambul Nation, Resolute Germ, Jimmy Das Hotep, Tyler F, and Scribe Light for retweeting the show. Greatly appreciate it. That's I'm serious. That's the number one thing. If you haven't done it yet, open a new window. Copy and paste the link to either one of these streams, Rumble or YouTube. Copy and paste it to whatever social media you use and say hi. And send it to somebody or everybody or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? All right. In the great state of Minnesota, as you may or may not know, the governor and the legislature they've legalized the use of recreational cannabis. Okay. And like any government-heavy state that would do such a thing, as you would expect, the governor basically established a department of cannabis in the state. Now, this is interesting because I don't know if there's it's called the Office of Cannabis Management. Now, people who use, buy, sell, whatever cannabis prior to the legalization of cannabis, aka weed, aka marijuana, aka Mary Jane. Remember that song, Rick James? Do you love me, Mary Jane? Anyway, the sellers and buyers and whatever cannabis had no problem managing the business, right? The people found it and got it. And they got a lot of it. They would sell it to other people who had little of it or wanted it. I don't know why you need an Office of Cannabis Management. The only thing about the legalization of cannabis is when you legalize it, it becomes a new revenue stream for the state because they can tax the hell out of it and make it the underground sellers even more rich because no one wants to pay taxes on their cannabis. So anyway, the state of Minnesota has a new Office of Cannabis Management, and he appointed this woman, her name Erin Dupree. Erin Dupree as the director. Yeah, I don't know what they call it. The director of the Office of Cannabis Management, making a new state post, they can tax it and all that shit. Well, unfortunately, the new cannabis director has resigned after one day. After one day in office, the Thursday, Walz praised Erin Dupree as a proven and effective leader who was an outstanding choice to lead the office. And Governor Walz's appointee to lead the new Office of Cannabis Management announced her resignation Friday night, one day after being named to the role. She technically wasn't scheduled to begin in serving in the role until October 2nd. On Thursday, Walz praised Erin Dupree as a proven and effective leader who was an outstanding choice to lead the office, which will regulate and oversee the new industry after cannabis was legalized on August 1st. Now, I don't know how many other states do this. Does Colorado have an Office of Cannabis Management? Does Nevada have an Office of Cannabis Management? Does California have an Office of Cannabis Management? Of course they do, because, again, taxes. They now that you have a new revenue stream for the government, right? So anyway, Alpha News was published a story earlier Friday highlighting some of the apparent inconsistencies between Dupree's work experience and the requirements laid out in a job description for the cannabis director. The Star Tribune then published a story detailing Dupree's sale of illegal products at a hemp shop she owns in Apple Valley. So she was out there doing her own Office of Cannabis Management prior to the legalization of legalized recreational cannabis, and that may have gotten her into trouble. And the Star Tribune found out about it after Alpha found out about it, and there were some inconsistencies. So anyway, additionally, filings with the state over the course of the last decade showed Dupree had outstanding debts related to federal tax liens amounting to tens of thousands of dollars. Some of those debts had been paid back earlier this year. According to divorce records from 2021, Dupree then went by the name of Aaron Wambach Holgate. She told the judge in a filing that she was employed as an independent contractor for Empire Today and made a monthly income of $3,700. That wasn't listed in her LinkedIn resume and didn't line up with the work she and Governor Walz said she'd been doing as a consultant for the last half decade. On a related note, in 2021, she was in a small claims court dispute with a White Bear Lake resident who said Dupree received more than $2,500 to conduct a home floor replacement estimate as an independent contractor. Ms. Wambach hasn't provided receipts, products, or services. The resident wrote in a court document. District Court judge later wrote an order demanding Dupree pay that sum to her customer. And she has a couple other disputes they talk about here. So, I'm sorry, Ms. Wambach, but your day is ended. Probably a good thing because, shit just didn't go well. All right, moving on. Let's see. Oh, other things that are trending. A couple pop stars are trending. One is Beyonce. And I really, I guess Beyonce had a big concert in Houston. And I am going to say something that may be slightly sacrilegious. I'm not a huge fan of Beyonce. I think, I personally think that, God forbid I say this, and I'm sure this will get me hate for anyone who figures out. Feel free to clip it. I don't care. I think Beyonce's overrated. I'm sorry. She's a good singer. I don't know if she's a great singer. I mean, clearly she has throngs of fans who love her, and that's fine. Would I go to a Beyonce concert? Maybe. I mean, it's not a lock. If I got some, discounted tickets or whatever. I mean, she's a good singer, and I won't deny that, but it's just, not my thing. Okay? Not my thing. I think, who would I go to see? If I had a choice on the same night, and I'm talking about right now, with the new lineup that this other band has, if I had a choice to go to Beyonce or Earth, Wind, and Fire, with, no, obviously Maurice White's dead, but so there's a different lineup of Earth, Wind, I'd go to Earth, Wind, and Fire still. That's just me. I'm a little bit old school. But anyway, I think part of the reason this is trending, though, because a fight broke out up in the upper deck at her concert. A fight broke out during Love on Top at the Beyonce Houston concert. I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but, and then people were talking about the wardrobe changes and people were all excited, whatever. Her wardrobes are designed basically to de-emphasize the fact that she's, still on baby. I'm wondering if she's pregnant, because I saw a side view of her and she looked like she might be pregnant again. But, her daughter, with the Blue Ivy or whatever the girl's name is about 14 or 15 years old now. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird to think? Y'all remember when Beyonce had and Jay-Z had their child, Blue Ivy? She's got to be 15, 16, something like that. So anyway, that's why Beyonce's trending, because just because this big concert in Houston, it was a triumph that everyone's excited. She did a bunch of stuff, and it's Beyonce, so Beyonce's going to trend. The other big pop star who's trending is Taylor Swift. Now, these are two giants in the music industry. Did y'all know Taylor Swift's over 30 years old now? That's weird too. But anyway, Taylor Swift is trending for a different reason. Taylor Swift is trending because apparently Taylor Swift was seen at a Kansas City Chiefs game over the weekend. And she was seen after the game with what's his name? Travis Kelce. Apparently she might be dating Travis Kelce. I'm trying to make sure I don't scroll up at anything weird. So so people are all excited about the fact that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce might be dating. They've seen them together. They were walking out of the stadium together after the game. They saw him driving around in a convertible after the game. And she's her child is probably 16. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, everyone's all excited that Travis Kelce was looking up. Travis Kelce looked up, saw Taylor Swift with his mom and said, man, she's really here, eyes sweating, and sat back and thought, oh, shit, I'm in an NFL game. I got to stop daydreaming and try to look around. Now, this is interesting. Another one of these pop stars that's super popular. She writes great songs. Girls love her especially. I mean, girls and gay people love Taylor Swift, and that's fine. I don't give a shit. She's one of the biggest selling artists over the last decade, right? Here's something also fascinating. And the funniest post I saw about this was this one. Right here. Taylor Swift is going to be a billionaire in a few months. I don't know what the F y'all are confused about. Anyway, but here's who. Now let's take a compare and contrast, because this is who Travis Kelce used to date. This is who Travis Kelce used to date. This young lady right here. And if you need another example of this young lady right here, and she's a fine individual, right? She's a fine individual, and someone's like, man, oh man, did Travis Kelce do a downgrade when he went from this to this? Now, frankly, that would be some body shaming shit, and I don't think you should body shame Taylor Swift. However, does Travis Kelce care about whether or not Taylor Swift's a billionaire? He's dating her because he's a billionaire. No, he's dating her because he's famous and he can. Okay, so anyway, but I'm sorry, but yeah, you go from this fine individual to this individual. I don't know. I can't do the math on this one. So we're just going to let that go. Silly me. I thought that was funny. Maybe you don't. Maybe I'm being sexist or whatever. But, you know, do men really care about women's careers? I don't know. All right, let's say a few more hellos here. Good morning, Rotten Corpse in the house. Nice to see you. Jay Pylon's back. Nice to see you, my friend. Rick Ashbringer, I said hi already. And also, good morning. Did I say Rotten? I said Rotten Corpse. I got you. All right. Real quick, couple more donations. Thank you to Cryptic, a good friend from, I don't know where the hell you're from, Cryptic. You're an American now. Dropping a just under a penny under a Hamilton. Cryptic says, I don't like Beyonce either. I'm straight. That is a manly dude. No, Beyonce's not manly. Come on, Cryptic. I do appreciate it. Thank you for sponsoring the show, the big $9.99. That would be the Herman Cain donation. Also, thank you, Chicago Mike, dropping another big bull in the tip jar. Who says Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift was more exciting than watching my Bears play like shit against the Chiefs. Hey, look, I live in Minnesota, and I've been around the Minnesota Vikings for 34 years, and I feel your pain, brother. The Vikings, oh man, the Vikings. I thought we were gonna pull it out yesterday. They got down. First of all, they got the. Can anyone explain why San Diego, the Chargers, if anyone's happened to see that game, the Chargers were up 4 with about a minute left in the game. There was inside the 2-minute warning, and they had a 4th and 1, but they were inside their own 25, and they went for it on 4th and 1 and failed. If they would have lost that game, that would have been the dumbest blunder. You punt. I don't care if it's, you think you're going to get that first down. They did it. The Vikings stopped them, but then the Vikings failed to score and threw an interception after that. Yeah, it's some football shit. Nobody cares, right? I know this is not a sports ball show. Anyway, but yeah, Chicago Mike, I feel your pain. Believe me. All right, real quick. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood. Nice, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. All right, let's get into the solemn holiday of Yom Kippur. I talked about that a little earlier. Now, there's been a couple blunders on Yom Kippur. For example, Madge, whatever you want to call her, our friend Marjorie Taylor Greene, kind of messed up on Yom Kippur. All right, so she mistakenly sent out greetings for the wrong holiday. Marjorie Taylor Greene slammed for Yom Kippur gaffe. Now, she's slammed, right? She slammed for the Yom Kippur gaffe. So here's what she did. Marjorie Taylor Greene Sunday posted a Yom Kippur message that included an image of a Hanukkah menorah. She ultimately deleted the image, but legal expert, wait. They brought in legal experts to talk about her tweeting the wrong thing. Legal experts. Legal experts. Who? What? This is how they operate. Legal experts, conservative operatives, and onlookers felt it was not quite enough. I'm sorry. Is it illegal to make a mistake on a holiday in the United States of America? I've never heard of this. Green, known for and who wrote this? This is from Raw Story, of course. So it's Raw Story. Raw Story said legal experts did this. Raw Story is reliably left-leaning. Green, known for promoting QAnon conspiracy theories. Is that what she's known for? What, really? Does she quote QAnon on the House of Representatives floor? What do you mean she's known for promoting QAnon conspiracy theories and claiming that Jewish space lasers were responsible for wildfires in California was already in hot water for an offensive comment she made Friday about President Joe Biden's social media post? Really? Hot water with who? On Sunday, the lawmaker posted the following holiday message. To all those preparing for the solemn holiday of Yom Kippur, I wish you a meaningful fast, Gemar Kajima Tova, which is the traditional greeting for Yom Kippur. In an earlier version of that post, it included an image of a menorah. Okay, so she fucked up, or someone on her staff fucked up. And she added the image, she deleted the image, but kept the message as public. She did not change the text or issue any apology, according to a review of the lawmaker's social media account. So why are you asking legal experts? I don't understand. Really? Yeah, wait. Now think about this blunder and see I'm curious what the legal experts are going to say about the next. This is the shot, right? This story is the shot. And I'll have the chaser for you in a moment. You probably already know about it, but I'm still going to talk about it. And we must hold the deep state accountable for covering our budget. Nobody cares. Former Trump supporter David Weissman can be found in the comments of Green's post asking, did someone hack your account? Brett Meselis, the co-founder of anti-Trump super PAC Midas Touch, also wrote, Menorah, wrong holiday, you anti-Semitic piece of shit. Really? So she makes an error, which, is she required to understand Jewish holidays? I want to know what the legal experts say. That's the most interesting part to me. Legal expert. They haven't quoted a legal expert yet. Oh, here it is. National Security Attorney Bradley Moss also noticed the mistake Sunday and posted, quote, Congresswoman tried to post this message before, but included a Hanukkah menorah. She deleted it and gave up on posting an image. Okay. And Frank Lesser, identified as a former Emmy-winning writer for Colbert, also added to the discussion, everyone's making fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene for putting a menorah on her Yom Kippur message, but in her defense, she thought it was an 8-pronged Jewish space. Okay, so, and then that's it. That's the story. There's more to it, but fuck these guys. I don't give a shit. FTG. Don't care. So anyway, so we're talking about Yom Kippur gaffes, right? Gaffes related to the Jewish high holidays. Well, I think that perhaps the biggest gaffe regarding the Jewish high holidays goes to the government from our friends to the north, the great state of Canada. Okay? And you'll know this by a couple of things that are trending. A couple of things that are trending on Twitter and, this in the general discussion of the world. One of them is Nazis. Now, really, on the Jewish high holidays, you really don't want Nazis to be trending. I just would think that you would not want Nazis to be trending, nor would you want Waffen SS trending, okay? The Waffen SS is trending. And here's why those things are trending. Because in the great state of Canada, to the north of Minnesota here, the the Canadian Parliament decided that it would be a great day to give a standing ovation to a literal Nazi SS officer who fought against the army that liberated Auschwitz and Canada itself. But it's true, they actually did, and no one will face any consequences. In fact, they'll probably do it again, right? The story is, let's see, what happened to it? Here we go. And I'll tell you. So here it is. Meet Yaroslav Hunk. Yaroslav Hunk. Hunk is a Nazi who fought with the 14th Division of the Waffen SS against the Russians in Ukraine in World War II. Hunk assisted in the systematic extermination of Ukraine's Jewish population and an installation of a Nazi director in the region. Hunk also engaged in the wholesale slaughter of Ukrainian people and entire villages that were disloyal to Hitler. Zelensky led Canadian Parliament in a roaring standing ovation, round of applause for this 90-year-old Nazi, as in, I did not see that coming, the title of the show today. They honored the Nazi as a hero. What does this say about Zelensky's true goals and worldview? Well, I don't know. Maybe he's stupid, because that's certainly a possibility too. Although he's smart enough to get a lot of money from the United States. Good morning, Gen T. How you doing? So what side are we on? So here it is. This is the Canadian Parliament giving a standing ovation to a surviving Nazi Waffen SS member.
Zelensky's speech received at least a dozen standing ovations. There was also one for this man.
Wait, stop. I would like you to listen carefully to the verbiage in this report from Canadian Broadcasting, okay, describing this person, this human being who fought against the Russians. Now listen to the verbiage. It's very important. This is a short clip, so I'm going to start it over. Listen to the verbiage of this. This is how the media is trying to whitewash, gaslight. I don't know what you want to call it. They're trying to make this into something else than what it is. And I'm sorry, this is a gap. Remember what time of the year it is. Remember the time of the year right now. We're in the Jewish high holidays. Yom Kippur, which I believe ends today at sundown, is the most high Jewish holiday, the most important holiday on the Jewish calendar. All right, here we go. Listen to how the Canadian Broadcasting Company describes this person.
Zelensky's speech received at least a dozen standing ovations. There was also one for this man, a 98-year-old Ukrainian Canadian who fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russians during the Second World War.
Say what? Fought for Ukrainian independence against Russia in the Second World War. Fought for Ukrainian independence against Russia in the Second World War? What side were the Ukrainian independence fighters on during the Second World War? They were against the Nazis. The Russians were on our side. They were on the side of Canadians. They were on the side of the British. They were on the side of France. They were on the side of all the other, I don't remember what they're called, not the NATO powers, but you know what I mean. They were on the correct side of history. This guy was a Nazi Waffen SS officer who was fighting on behalf of the Nazis. He'd killed Ukrainians on behalf of the Nazis. He was fighting against the Russians for the Nazis. Are you fucking kidding? When she said Russia, she means the Soviet Union. Whatever. Yes, the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was on our side at that time. Okay? Not saying they were the good guys, but they certainly weren't the bad guys. They weren't the worst guys. Because they tried to set up a pact with Hitler too, and he broke it. He broke it. Holy Shiite, Batman. Holy shit. Fought for Ukrainian independence against the Soviet or Russian, whatever, in World War II. Wow. Talk about whitewashing what this man was. And he's now a Canadian. Now, I'm not knocking that he's a Canadian. A lot of the former Russian scientists, whatever, or not Russian, excuse me, a lot of the former Nazi scientists, whatever, end up in the United States under Operation Paperclip. But whatever. Unbelievable. Now, here it is. There's a Nazi who fought in the 14th Division of the Waffen against the Russians in Ukraine in World War II. How consisted? I think I already read this one. In the systematic, yeah, I did read Benny Johnson. What the actual, is that a worse gaffe perhaps than what Marjorie Taylor Greene did? I would think so. When your parliament is up there giving a stand ovation to a living Nazi who fought against Canada and everybody else on our side in World War II. He was that actual Nazi. Now, let's look at another example of this. How they were, Politico, Politico, the online whatever thing. And in fact, here it is. It's pretty hilarious that people who call themselves Nazi punchers only punch pro-life grandmothers, but give standing ovations to actual Nazis. Here's what how Politico described it. Well, there's the tweet first. We'll show you the article. Nazi-linked veteran receives ovation during Zelensky's Canada visit. He was a Waffen-SS soldier and is far more than merely... He was a Nazi soldier! He was fighting for the bad guys. So their article here, MPs honor man who fought for the Nazis during Zelensky's visit to Parliament. Now this is a changed headline. They updated the headline because it didn't say that before. Yaroslav Hunka was invited by Speaker Anthony Rota, who introduced him as a war hero who fought for the first Ukrainian. A war hero. They have a Ukrainian war hero. And Zelensky's up there just, clapping away too. This is unbelievable. Speaker Anthony Rota apologized Sunday for giving a standing ovation to Yaroslav Hunka in the House of Commons. The 98-year-old war veteran was later revealed fought for a Nazi unit in the Second World War. And here's his quote. In my remarks following the address of the president of Ukraine, I recognize an individual in the gallery. I subsequently have become aware of more information which causes me to regret my decision to do so. Oh, good. At least you regret the decision. Now, how about everyone who stood and clapped for this motherfucker? Write a similar statement. He further added that others, including his fellow parliament members and the Ukraine delegation, were not aware of his plans. I particularly want to extend my deepest apologies to Jewish communities in Canada and around the world. I accept full responsibility for my action. Wouldn't it have been a clue to the people in Parliament when you're talking about the Ukrainian fighting against the Soviet Union in World War II? Did not anyone go, here, let me ask you a serious question. Did not anyone hear about, this guy fought in World War II for the Ukrainians and he was fighting against the Russians? Did anyone go like this? Wait. What? He fought where? Who? What? How? Who did he fight? He was fighting. Why the fuck are you all standing for this motherfucker? Nobody thought that? Nobody thought of that? Come on now. Come on, man. Anyway, during Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to Ottawa on Friday, MPs honored a 98-year-old, Yaroslav Hunka in the House of Commons. Several Jewish advocacy groups, organizations condemned members of Parliament on Sunday for giving Hunka a standing ovation. Hunka was invited by Speaker Anthony Rota, who introduced him as a war hero who fought for the 1st Ukrainian Division. He described him as a war hero. A war hero. I am very proud to say that he is from North Bay, and from my writing of Nipissing Chachibdine, the Ontario MP said in his introduction, he's a Ukrainian hero, a Canadian hero, and we thanked him for his service. So he's a Ukrainian hero who was fighting against Canada in World War II. He's a Ukrainian hero. MPs cheered. Zelensky raised his fist in acknowledgement as Hunka saluted from the gallery during two separate standing ovations. The 1st Ukrainian Division was also known as the Waffen-SS Galicia Division, or the SS 14th Waffen Division, a voluntary unit that was under the command of the Nazis. Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center for Holocaust Studies issued a statement Sunday saying that the division was responsible for the mass murders of innocent civilians with a level of brutality and malice that was unimaginable. Oh boy, an apology is owed to every Holocaust survivor and the veteran of the Second World War II who fought the Nazis, and the explanation must be provided as to how this individual entered the hallowed halls of Canadian Parliament and received recognition from the Speaker of the House and a standing ovation, the statement said. So anyway, there's more in here. But yeah, Politico's original take on this was Nazi-linked veteran received an ovation. No, not just linked. He was in a unit that slaughtered Ukrainians and helped, push forward Hitler's, put forward Hitler's agenda. A couple other people posted on this. Aaron Matei, independent journalist. First time that I can recall since February 2022 where a Western politician expresses concerns about our support for Ukrainian Nazis. This is in response to Canada plotting a Nazi collaborator in World War II. Don't expect to hear the same concerns over NATO arming Nazis today. Well, that's spot on. Here's a statement from Yamit Singh. I share concerns waged about Friday's event at the House of Commons. We must all stand against anti-Semitism. This must never happen again. Please read my statement fully. He says, I share the concerns about the individual honored with the standing ovation in the House of Commons Friday. He was not a guest of the NPDP, and we were not aware of his background or association with the Nazi regime in World War II. This event has caused harm to the Jewish community, and for that I am sorry. Well, it's words, but it's symbolically maybe harm to the Jewish community. I mean, that's fucked up, if you ask me. Hello, Caladius! How are you doing? Oh, Nazis are war heroes now. Finally, the recognition these are. Oh, stop it! Anyway, now New Democrats will be raising concerns about how this is allowed to happen with government directly. We must all stand together against the rising tide of anti-Semitism. So anyway, and then some here, blah, blah. Did everyone get a program events for the day? If so, how come nobody looked into the program beforehand, especially in light of the current government? Double, especially Freeland, granddaughter of a good Nazi. All of them should resign. I'm sure there'll be people asking for that too. Yeah, you still cheered after hearing the words "fought against the Russians in World War II." For fuck's sake, exactly. AD. This is talk about a blunder, and literally the day before the most high Jewish holiday. You can't. I don't know if you can script that shit. That's amazing to me. All right, let's see. Is that everything I have about that? Probably not. Oh yeah, I am done. All right, let's move on. Something Reaccion Puerto Rico sent me, and I haven't watched it, but I think this is interesting. You know, we like to talk about the deep state, the three-letter agencies, and this one's about the FBI. Something on that happened on the Tim Pool show, which I haven't watched Tim Pool in a long time. I don't watch anybody right now, other than I catch Monkey every once in a while, I catch Rakita once in a while. But I'm just so busy with other things. It's weird how when you're not working, you can still be busy. We got so much going on. Oh, my son's coming into town this weekend. I'm excited too. His birthday's coming, and his fiance's coming to town. But I'm not going to see his fiance or fiance, his wife. I'm sorry. I've been saying fiance for over a year. And now it's his wife. My son and his wife are coming to town, but they're going to be in different places. It's funny. I forget how when I was in my 20s, how many freaking weddings I went to because, you know, all my friends around me, whatever, getting married. My son and his wife are both coming into town for weddings, but they're going to two different weddings. My son's going to one of his college friends' weddings. She's going to one of her college friends' weddings. They're the same time, so they're going to separate weddings. And then they're going to stay for the week. My son's birthday is the following weekend, so we're going to celebrate his birthday. And then they're going to another wedding of someone they went to high school, so at least they get to go to that one together. But it's just funny how many. I mean, they're traveling almost every weekend to freaking weddings, so pretty amazing. So anyway, you know, he has a fiance and a wife. Good on your son. Yeah, he's. No, he just one. We're not Mormon or Muslim or anything like that. Anyway, this is a video talking about some of the perks that the director of the FBI gets. That if you're an American, you pay for this. Well, actually, the Chinese government pays that for this because, you know, we're borrowing everything right now. But anyway, we'll just play the clips, and if there's anything interesting that comes up, we'll add to that. This is Kyle Seraphin on the Tim Pool show. Here it is. Oh, maybe if we had some sound.
That Chris Wray has the jet, which lives in Manassas, Virginia. You guys know where that is. It flies to DCA, Reagan. It lands. It costs us $2,500 as a taxpayer to land at DCA just for the runway fee for the private jet.
But that's like
plus whatever.
It's Chris Wray. So he gets a private jet from the FBI to go back and forth to work.
It costs for a 30-minute flight from Manassas to Virginia. It's like 41 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. It flies 41 miles to meet him closer, so he doesn't have to sit on Route 66 on US 66 and drive out to where the
that's just
hangar
the
is.
suburbs. I'm like, what?
Yeah, correct.
That's just a
He's
suburb.
in the suburbs of DC, but he has a private jet fly him from the suburb small airstrip to heart of DC, so he doesn't have to drive to work.
Flies to him at DCA. He gets on the plane and then he flies to wherever he goes. Usually home to Atlanta.
That a 2-minute flight?
It's between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on the pattern.
To fly? Oh, because you can't just go up and down.
Yeah, right. You don't just direct fly. You have to fly up, then you have to fly into the pattern, then you have to fly around DCA, then you land. So it's short as 13 minutes, as long as like 21 or 22 minutes. People can actually go check out this plane in real time. It's a government aircraft. We all pay for it.
Look, man, traffic around DC. Oof.
Right.
41 miles could be an hour and a half.
$10,000 per flight is what I've been told the estimate is between wear and tear on the aircraft, the cost of operating the crew rest that they get from the flight, and the fact that we pay $2,500
just for the landing fee to land. Holy shit.
dollars in fuel and everything else. $2,500 just to touch down on the runway. People can actually check it out. It's all aircraft have a tail number, and his is November 708 Juliet Hotel. November 708 JH. That is our jet that the FBI flies for Chris Wray. It was bought under $60 million with the counterterrorism resources. It is supposed to be used for the counterterrorism investigation teams that go around and pick up, like let's say a big shooting happens. Let's say Las Vegas happens. You're supposed to fly an evidence team in that jet out there to do it. But they have to wait until Chris Wray is done using it because he uses it to fly home to Atlanta where his family
he lives in Atlanta too. He has a home in Atlanta and he flies there.
He lives and he lives. He's a geo bachelor 5-6 days out of the week because he didn't even commit after appointed for 10 years. He didn't even commit to living in DC with his family. His wife still lives outside of Atlanta. So if you go look at the Flight Aware, which people can do publicly, it's like a free resource. You could pull up where that jet goes. And here's what it does. On a Friday afternoon, it flies from Manassas to Reagan Airport. It lands. He gets on it. It flies him to Fulton County down in outside of Atlanta.
Oh, my God.
He gets off it. It flies back to Atlanta. It sits there for the weekend. Then it flies back on Monday morning and picks him up, or Sunday night. Then it flies him back to DCA, drops him off because it's closer to the office.
All right, here, let's watch the second half of this. This is unreal. Let's watch part 2 of this. Thank you, by the way, Reaction Puerto Rico, for sending this to me. Let's pause that. Let's open it up. There we go. Here it is. Here's the second half.
Home to Atlanta, where his family lives and he lives. He's a geo bachelor 5-6 days out of the week because he didn't even commit weekend. Then it flies back on Monday morning and picks him up, or Sunday night.
Okay, here's the rest
Then
of
it flies him back to DCA, drops him off because it's closer to the office. Then it flies back to Manassas, where it lives. So we now have 6 flights for a man to basically just fly home for the weekend. And do you know what he pays for that? Because that's private travel. That's personal travel. He has to reimburse the American taxpayer. Do you know what he pays?
What?
Like $200. because he finds whatever the cheapest one-way flight is or the cheapest round trip on Spirit Airlines, and that's what he's responsible for paying out of his pocket. So he pays the commercial equivalent to the region. It could be a Spirit Airlines flight from Baltimore to like near Atlanta, and that's what he has to pay. It has to be in the same region. It doesn't even have to be the same airports because he flies into the private jet terminal. Yep. The dude is paying like $200 a flight.
And imagine each flight, it does 6 flights just for his trip home to Atlanta, from Atlanta to back to CC. And I guess it takes, I think he said 6 flights or something like that, because it's not based in Washington D.C. and it's not based in Atlanta. So it flies to his home, picks him up, flies to DC, then it flies to its own base, and then come back to another flight. So it's like something like that. Each landing costs, like DC is $2,500 just for landing, not for the crew, not for the plane, not for the fuel, not for any of it. This is amazing, and he pays $200. That's I'm imagine the trip home from Atlanta is $30,000 per flight. Maybe $20,000 per flight. I don't know. That's crazy.
For a round trip that costs the American taxpayer probably upwards of like $50,000 or more.
Sounds like corruption.
It sounds like a really good deal if you can get it. That's why he thinks he's a prince.
On top of that, he's got all sorts of strap hangers who go with him everywhere. He's got his own security detail. And if you're going for multiple days, you're taking multiple shifts because those guys aren't working 24 hours a day, but there has to be a security detail awake on him.
That doesn't include, and then his transportation and all those places, probably the same thing. I'm sure he gets private transportation on the government's dime, and maybe probably what he does. He gets to those airports and he has to get transportation from the airport to Langley or to wherever, back to his home, whatever. I'll bet you dollars to donuts there's some kind of government vehicle that drives him, and he pays the equivalent of the cheapest Uber ride. So this is crazy.
Him in his house or wherever he is, his hotel, wherever he is in the world, 24 hours a day. You got the flight crew who now they're in Atlanta over the weekend. All these people are getting paid overtime for working the weekend, or weekend differential pay and night shift pay and all sorts of bonus pay for.
They bring in the local SWAT teams because those guys exhaust all the hours where they can. At some point in time, if you're a federal agent, you actually do enough overtime, and there's only the people that are basically on protective details get it. But if you work enough overtime hours, you eventually start working for free because there's a cap at 174,000 and change, or 176,000 changes year to year, like a little bit. But once you hit that amount of numbers, you can't make any more money. So when you're working overtime, they're actually not paying you the overtime.
That's wild. I never even thought of this. And think about this. Do you think he's the only government official who does this? I mean, do you think the same happens for Pete Buttigieg? Or, think about it. The transportation secretary. Sure, he's getting free private flights from some government airplane. Nancy Pelosi, didn't they have like a plane that they designated for the Speaker of the House? That she probably does the same thing. That's a government plane that she takes from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco, and probably just pays whatever the cheapest fare she can find from region to region, which I'm sure you can find flights from Washington, D.C. to San Fran round trip for probably under $300 if you take the, if you take the cheapest red-eye flights, and that's all you have to find. And that's all she has to pay. And especially the fact that she's become a multi-millionaire, like 10, 20 times over, since she's been in Congress. So she was paying probably paying $300 out of pocket to go home to San Francisco on a private flight. This is crazy. This shit never even crossed my mind. How our government spends money is insane. Hello, cannibalistic wizard. Oh, don't say honk honk. Remember, there are people who, in fact, what lady in the Canadian government? Let me see if I can find that. There's a lady in the Canadian government. Speaking of that, the Nazi story, where is it here? I bet it's right here. Let me see if I can find it. Who used to claim that saying honk honk was, said, like, if you say honk honk, that's it's a dog whistle for Heil Hitler, right? Remember that? Everyone remember that one? Oh my gosh, it's just hilarious. It's hilarious. No, honk honk is symbolize the fact that some of you motherfuckers are clowns. right? You're fucking clowns. There you go. I give you 3 honks. Anyway. Let's go back to another story that we were talking about on Friday. So, remember on Friday we talked about how Dave Portnoy was having this pizza fest, right? And he made this Washington Post reporters, or 2 of them, were writing a hit piece on him. And one of the participants in the pizza fest sent him a communication from a Washington Post reporter, tipping off the fact that they were about to write a hit piece about him, right? And he called them and posted and basically embarrassed the Washington Post. And remember when at the end of that call, when we were talking about this on Friday, Dave Portnoy had an appointment to actually be interviewed by this reporter, right? Well, the update to that story right now is the Washington Post basically asked to reschedule this time of the interview that she publicly was going to have this interview with him. And then the Washington Post canceled by claiming that they wanted to reschedule it. And it was at a time that he could reschedule. So now they claimed he failed to be to be interviewed for the story, right? Well, let's get an update on this, because the Pizza Fest itself went off pretty well, except for the fact that it was pouring rain. They still had hundreds and hundreds of people. We'll get to that in a second. But, and also, the Washington Post decided that they were going to release this story anyway. So on X, where they posted the story, the Washington Post got one of those, because they still post this story and pointed out on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, and they added a context update. You know how they have the community notes? Well, they added a nice little community note to the Washington Post hit piece. Social media platform X, formerly called Twitter, issued a brutal update to the Washington Post piece about Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, who earlier in the week taped a call he had confronted one of the reporters, writing what he deemed a hit piece. During the tape conversation, Portnoy pressed reporter Emily Heil. Speaking of, I wonder if she'd married someone named Hitler, then it would be Emily Heil Hitler. Anyway, about why she was contacting participating pizzerias and sponsors of his One Bite Pizza Festival and seemingly asking them to defend their decision to participate in the event. Why would you call them to ask them to defend their position on participating in an event where they could sell shit tons of pizza? Anyway, while describing Portnoy as having a history of misogynistic comments and other problematic behavior. Notably, Hitler told Portnoy on the call that she wanted the advertisers to think something negative was going to be printed, which she said is a press tactic used to get a response. Nonsense! You were trying to shame them into dropping out of the event. So anyway, they ended up posting this story anyway, and thankfully, readers who do community notes on Twitter, aka X, added this note. A phone call between Emily Heil and Dave Portnoy was shared prior to publication, in which the Washington Post journalist admits to intentionally misleading advertisers into speaking negatively of the One Bite Pizza Festival. So here's the Washington Post story. Here's their tweet about it, or their post, whatever you call it on X now. This week in New York will host Dave Portnoy's One Bite Pizza Festival. Participating pizzerias have had to navigate buzz around the festival and backlash against the Barstool Sports founder's controversial remarks and allegations of sexual misconduct. Now that headline, or X post line alone, it's just designed as a hit piece. The reason they are navigating the buzz around the festival and the backlash against Barstool Sports is because Washington Post reporters decided to write a hit piece on it. And, well, we'll get into the article, because it's funny how they do these articles. Because they can find, anyone will say something negative about anything. If Mother Teresa was at orphanage feeding orphan children, the Washington Post could find something negative. Maybe she, served them something with too much sodium, right? And that would be their focus if they want to do a hit piece. Mother Teresa tries to kill young orphan children by giving them too much salt. You know what I mean? So anyway, here's the Washington Post article. And the title it says it all. Here it is. Pizzeria navigate buzz backlash around Dave Portnoy's Pizza Festival. Now, I'm sure after Dave Portnoy's call, they certainly changed the headline. I'm sure they did, because they were going to put it was going to be even more negative. Quote, and then they do this infamous quote. Maybe she was or wasn't AD, but I'm just saying. You see, her image is of saintlyhood. AD says Mother Teresa was a horrible human being, though. Well, yeah, she may well have been. So, when they say some, they mean these Washington Post reporters and some other activists. Good morning, Tex AG 007. Some don't agree with Barstool Sports founder statements, but they like what he does for business. Well, I bet that wasn't a sub-headline beforehand, because that would be something positive. Some like what he does for business. Yeah, good. So we're going to go through this article because it's so bad. The main thing Maggie DeMarco Miles knew about Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy before she agreed to take part in his One Bite Pizza Fest. No, she probably clamored to take part. She didn't agree to it. She was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. You've done wonders for my business. Anyway, before she agreed to take part in his One Bite Pizza Festival this weekend in New York was that he'd given her father's pizzeria a stellar review in 2018, years before the legendary Domenico DeMarco died. Portnoy, in fact, rated 2 slices from Di Fara Pizza. He gave them both 9.4% out of 10. Wow! That's a good rating from Dave Portnoy. Usually he's in the 7s. And 7's a good rating too. Anyway, when he first started the One Bite thing, people kept sending me links and telling me, you got the highest score. And I would listen to it and be like, who is this guy? All he does is curse. So that was my first impression. DeMarco Miles said in an interview with the Washington Post, since signing for the inaugural One Bite Pizza Festival, named after the influential video series in which Portnoy takes one bite, usually more, of a slice and gives though usually more, and gives it a numerical rating. DeMarco Miles has learned a lot more about the man who goes by the nickname El Presidente. For the festival, Di Fara had a special t-shirt made, which the pizzeria put on its Instagram account. DeMarco Miles and the pizzeria, listen to this. DeMarco Miles and the pizzeria were instantly accused of supporting a man who had been accused of sexual misconduct and has a history of using racist and misogynistic and homophobic language that he defended as jokes. Oh my God! He told some jokes. In a brief phone call with the Post, he said, I've been hit with the same things over and over, and they're wildly out of context. Because he tells some spicy jokes, okay? He tells some spicy jokes, and they don't like spicy jokes, especially if if they're jokes about any certain communities. DeMarco Miles was rattled enough by the incoming comments that she turned to her mother, the matriarch of the celebrated pizza family, for guidance. Oh my gosh. I told her about some of the comments, and I'm like, Mom, I don't pay attention to this stuff. I can't even pay attention to my own stuff. She said, you have to think of the people that paid a lot of money for those tickets. Yes, you do. Good advice, Mom. Those people are the people you have to think of. And she's right. Damn right she is. If Di Fara pulled out of the festival, DeMarco Miles said, we would be disappointing a lot of people that are not going because of Dave Portnoy, but because of Di Fara Pizza. Yeah, they're going because of the pizza. They look, Portnoy is putting all these people on the map, and they're going there for the pizza. It's a pizza festival. It's not a Dave Portnoy festival. It's a damn pizza festival. Anyway, The pizzerias that Portnoy celebrates can go from local institutions to nationally known destinations. Places like Freddy the Pizza Man in suburban Detroit received an 8.7 review from Portnoy, causing an avalanche of attention to the restaurant, according to the Detroit News. Or Santilla's Brick Oven Pizza in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which received an 8.3 score from Portnoy. And Al Santillo, the semi-retired owner of the third generation Santillo, said his revenue after the review increased 50%, nearly 5 years after the One Bite was published. Santillo said he still gets customers based on it. A negative review from Portnoy, on the flip side, can have an impact too. Late last month, Portnoy posted a video panning Dragon Pizza in Somerville, Massachusetts, calling it slice a floppy mess. Owner Charlie Red confronted him on the camera outside the shop, saying, "I don't appreciate what you do coming in and judging business with One Bite." The two engaged in an expletive-laden exchange. Portnoy's online army rallied, and Red later told Bon Appetit that his shop's Yelp page received a flood of one-star reviews. Here's a staple of left-wing hit pieces. This little sentence right here. And that he received death threats. Probably KYS, right? I'm sure that all of these death threats over a bite of pizza were truly likely to happen. They were all like death threats. That's a staple of the left-wing complaints about other people on the right. Well, I received death threats. You know how many death threats probably members of Congress on the right or right-wing pundits and stuff receive? Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. They're not serious. But none of it seemed to hurt his business. Well, how about, wait a minute. Whoa. So what's the point of can have an impact? It didn't seem to hurt his business. You probably got the name on the map. Just having your name on the map. Remember? You can talk good about me, you talk bad about me. All I care is that you talk about me. None of it seemed to hurt his business. His pizzeria purportedly sold out after the Portnoy rant. So it helped business even when he got a negative review. Whether we like it or not, Portnoy is the most influential person in pizza in the country, and every pizzeria in the country, with the exception of very few, is patiently waiting for the day that he walks through the door, said Scott Weiner, who since 2008 had operated a company that specializes in New York pizza tours. Oh my God, they have special tours for pizza? That's awesome. I need to go on one of those. Hello, Renee Mayette, by the way. Because they see it as their chance of becoming an overnight lines out the door huge success. Portnoy, 46, founded Barstool Sports as a sports and culture print publication in Boston in 2003, taking it from a free vehicle for gambling ads to a media company with more than 400 employees, $250 million in annual revenue, almost 100 shows, and an estimated more than 51 million monthly page views. That's probably as close as much to the New York or the Washington Post. Anyway, since Portnoy started his One Bite reviews several years ago, that program's YouTube audience alone has grown to more than 1 million subscribers. But the Barstool site, which Portnoy has famously called sports smut, has been no stranger to controversy, nor has Portnoy himself. Oh no! A few examples of one of the many. In a 2010 blog post that has apparently since been deleted, Portnoy wrote that, quote, "Even though I never condone rape, if you're a size 6 and wearing skinny jeans, you kind of deserve to get raped, right?" He told a really bad joke, and he later told Huffington Post that the comment was intended to be a joke and that he didn't intend to poke fun at rape, but rather at skinny jeans. He was making fun of skinny jeans. And look, obviously, if you just take it at the words themselves and not in context, you're going to see what you want to see. And it obviously is a terrible joke that could be, think about what some of the nastiest comedians in the world say on their comedy tours, that just, if you put it in a set, if a let's say the deacon at your church said it, okay, I can see why that would be a problem. But if it's in a joke setting, some of the nastiest, worst things you can say in the world are funny in the right setting. Okay? Of course rape's not funny. It's awful. Okay? And it certainly it can hurt some people. But look, here's the thing. For example, if you're offended by my personal sense of humor, I really want you to let me know, because I could use a good laugh, you know? I'm just saying, you know? I'm just, anyway. In another blog post, he made sexist comments about ESPN's Samantha Ponder, including that her job was to make men hard. You know, the sports babes on the sidelines of football games who've never played football, you gotta wonder why they're there, how they become experts on football when they've never put on the pads and got hit by a linebacker. I mean, they might have gotten smashed by a linebacker, but not hit by one. Anyway, his defended his words, saying they were part of an hour-long podcast in which Barstool criticized all sportscasters, according to Business Insider, which that's probably true, but they don't want that. They don't want that part. They just want you to talk about her, her job's to make men hard. Oh my God, he's misogynist. He's an anti-women. In 2016, he wrote that he was no homo. Oh! For thinking Jets quarterback Christian Hackenberg was handsome. Again, it's just a funny thing guys say. I'm sorry you don't understand how guys think, especially straight heterosexual males, okay? It's clearly a joke. That whole no homo thing has always been a joke, right? A joke for their other male heterosexual friends. Now, can you imagine some of the things that some, gay men joke about heterosexual men, or women joke about men? Are those things that you can get written off for? Oh wait, no, because they're not the right they're not the right persuasion. Anyway, and then they go through a list of bullshit stuff like this that all taken out of context. And if you read this article, it is just filled with just them trying to make this man the worst person in the world, right? Now, since the One Bite Festival was announced in early August, some influencers, writers, and activists have been calling out the pizzeria sponsors. Some influencers, writer, and activist. Some, keyword, some influencers, writers, and activists have been calling out the pizzeria and sponsors participating in the nearly sold-out event scheduled for Saturday at a minor league ballpark in Brooklyn, with the remaining tickets as publication time starting at $220 to go to this thing. I wonder if that includes all the pizza you can eat. Probably, because you're paying for everything. Some of the biggest names in pizza: DeFara, Lucali, and John's of Bleecker Street in New York, Frank's Pepe Pizzeria Napolitana, and Sally's Pizza in New Haven, Connecticut were among the 35 plus shops slated to participate in the festival, which is sponsored by Coca-Cola, High Noon, Amsterdam Vodka, Peroni, and other brands. Many of the pizzerias have received favorable reviews from Portnoy. Well, I don't know. Yeah, if you I don't know if I'd go to the fest if I didn't receive a favorable review, but maybe you would, because it's again. Now, this is interesting. This next sentence is interesting because they find one critic who hates Portnoy and is trying to destroy him. Joe Rosenthal, a Minnesota-based mathematician who has positioned himself as the conscience of the food and restaurant industry, oh, thank you for doing that for us, have been leading the charge against those involved with Portnoy's festival. This guy hates Portnoy and has been on his ass for years. No homo. He has posted regularly on his Instagram account with its 33,000 plus followers. Wow! 33,000 plus followers? Woo! As opposed to Portnoy's like 3 million followers on various social media total. He has posted regularly on his Instagram account with writing that the pizzeria's influencers and trade publications are showing that Portnoy can continue his violent misogyny. Well, wait, what? Violent? He hit somebody? He smacked somebody in the head. He raped an individual. What? With violent misogyny and campaigns of abuse. Again, what? You're going after him. And they will continue to support him. Rosenthal wants the public to educate themselves and those businesses about Portnoy's past behaviors and pressure them to make a decision. They are trying to interfere with his business. That's what they're doing. They want you to boycott Dave Portnoy's festival and leave him on a lurch. That's what they want. That would be their ultimate goal. Tortious interference. How many hate that phrase? Anyway, this week, Jeremy Snyder wrote an opinion piece for NewJersey.com, headline, quote, "Why are New Jersey pizzerias supporting misogynist bully Dave Portnoy?" Wow. You know, I want to know if anyone on the planet wrote a positive article about the Pizza Fest. That's what I'm curious. Because apparently the New York or Washington Post could only find people who wrote badly about it. That's interesting. And best-selling cookbook author J. Kenji Lopez Alt said in a recent Instagram story, oh my God, an Instagram story? Oh no. That Portnoy had, quote, put together this list of pizzerias who are either not aware of his history or know but don't care. Oh. Why isn't that going? What the hell? Now, listen to this. This is great, because remember the letter that they sent to this one pizzeria that they forwarded, right? None of the pizzerias or sponsored contacted by the Post indicated they were pulling their support. Good. They shouldn't, you assholes. Some said they lent their name and reputation to the event in exchange for publicity or access to the young social media savvy audience that Portnoy attracts. Yeah, people will probably eat pizza more than you know, champagne toasting caviar and, snail eating motherfuckers. These are people like pizza, like Portnoy. That's why they watch his channel, for the pizza reviews. And some support Portnoy, whom they see as a champion of small business, right? His pizza reviews, they say, increased revenue by up to 50%. They pointed out his Barstool Fund raised tens of millions of dollars to help restaurants and other small businesses during the pandemic. Yeah, remember that? What do you mean they say he did? No, he did do that. Oh, nowhere in the article until the restaurant owners say it. And Santillo, for one, doesn't understand why critics are attacking him and others for siding with Portnoy. Yeah, the guy's definitely controversial. I know a lot of things he says I don't like. I'm not a normal follower of his because I'm pretty controversial myself, Santillo said in a phone interview. Nobody's all good. Nobody's all bad. The owner continued, right now, to me, his good points are outweighing his bad points. Everybody has a dark side, or dark sense of humor, maybe. And don't shoot, but basically don't shoot the piano player. I'm just a piano player here. Why do you want to shoot me? Good on these people who are supporting him. Anyway, so it goes on, and they, most of the vendors that they quote do support him, and you don't care what he says. He's not here for that. They're not there for that. So anyway, Portnoy himself about the festival. Here's a little clip he put out on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, thanking the people who came and supported his event. Not one single vendor left. It was in the pouring rain, and tons of people still showed up. Here's his thank you to some of the people who showed up.
Mother Nature kind of fucked us a little bit, but we're still out here. My shirt too tight for you? Oh, okay. I thank you for what you've done and what you do for everybody. I appreciate it.
As business owners appreciate him.
You guys got shit that you should never have gotten. Like, I feel terrible for it.
You tried to reach me.
Yeah, this is the lady that they interviewed in the Washington Post. And they went off on her. They went off on all these vendors.
How did he get her private email account? Like, it's crazy.
Somebody gave it to me in the crowd.
Oh, really?
Did you see that? They had Washington Post sweatshirts.
It's like the first day you met me. You're a brother.
Yeah, I needed you. It literally tastes like you're in New Haven.
How close is it to being in the store?
Exactly. Really? Did you hear that? Exact. John's a bleaker. Exact.
Oh, did you see that? Whoa. Wait a minute. Did this racist just hug a black man? Stop! He's hugging a black man with dreads or something. Oh my God. That's racist. You can't hug a black man at your pizza festival.
Fix the boxes. Check the water filter. We are ready to go.
And it's raining. Look, it's raining out there. People out there anyway.
If you build it, they will come.
Look at the lines.
Reviews we love the most, but you know who we hate? The fucking Washington Post.
Yay!
You'll all agree. You can one bite these nuts. Tim and Emily.
It's pretty close to the original. By the way, what are these rumors I'm hearing? New York City?
Well, out here we ain't play no games. Washington Post one more time. Suck my balls. Stickity tops.
Yeah.
She's bad news. I trust her.
Oh yeah, that's so this lady right here, this in the orange sweatshirt, if you can see her. Let me go back a little bit. This is a New York Times reporter. Now the New York Times did a hit piece on him too, but she's out there at the Pizza Fest talking to these people. I'm curious what she's gonna write.
Bad news. I trust her.
This is a all-time shirt. This fucking piece of shit. Right in the middle. Now you do service. I tell him I eat the pizza. You don't know how to make a pizza? I've never made a pizza. He gets my ass. Friendship bracelet, Taylor Swift, Dave loves Sally's. True, like arguably my favorite pizza in the world right here.
Entitled you to come whenever you want.
Dude, I would love it. I wish I could have gone to that.
We were getting harassed all week. One guy I got bad. I started calling him back.
No festival has ever done that. Has brought the ovens and brought the pizza to the people. Never.
So what they did, one of the, because they get into it, there's a big sponsors. One of the sponsors is this company that does pizza ovens. Basically, they're a pizza oven company. And so that these pizzerias that were in this festival could do their event at Brooklyn Stadium, they brought in whatever kind of pizza oven these pizza vendors use. They'd bring them in. So they brought in some wood fire, they brought in electric, they brought in gas, they brought in charcoal, whatever the kind that, so that all these pizza places did not have to bring their own equipment to this festival, which is a pretty cool deal. Obviously, this is a company trying to sell pizza ovens, but I just thought that was pretty cool.
Style of your punches.
What's going on over here? You got a review right now? Hey, guys! We're a big hit! Everybody's buzzing about Monty's and Lynn.
Now, imagine, too, what's happening when he does a video like this. All these places that their names get on the screen, do you think they get a little business from this if people figure out where they're from? Of course they do.
Did you get happy in the pizza when you mom?
Look at all the people there. It was pouring down raining, and look at all the people that showed up at this pizza fest. That is awesome. So good for him. All right, so that's some pretty cool stuff right there. Good for Portnoy. Do I have anything else to say about this? I had a couple other wings. Let's just go through what I bookmarked here. 5,000 people in the pouring rain. He says, thank you to every pizza place who participated. Thank you to every sponsor who was a part of it. Thank you to every person who showed up. Despite the rain today, was the greatest pizza event of all time. Lots of people. This is the Washington Post seeing this. This is probably what their reaction would look like. Wait, here, let's see.
It's insane. That's like, I can't even.
Yeah, that's probably the Washington Post's reaction. That's hilarious. Let's see. And here, Glenn Greenwald commented on the article. This is an absolute joke of an article about Portnoy and shows how corporate journalists are leading the censorship advocates. This is how they do it. Hi, I'm from the Washington Post or New York Times. We notice you haven't banned or disassociated from bad speaker X, and we'll write about it if you don't. Well, they wrote about it, and the people said, fuck off, we're going anyway. There are repressive left liberal activist groups like Media Matters and Sleeping Giants who do the same, pressure tech platforms and advertisers to ban those who liberals dislike. These media outlets do the same. It's obvious liberal activism masquerading as journalism. And I don't know what this is. Don't let the Washington Post raise your son's stream. There's a stream about it. And the community notes were just golden again. Community notes for the Washington Post article. A phone call between Emily Heil and Dave Portnoy was shared prior to publication, in which Washington Post journalist admits to intentionally misleading advertisers into speaking negatively about the One Bite Pizza Festival. We already read that. But there's all kinds of articles in this thread here. You can check that out. And then on Twitchy, they made a point how Glenn Greenwald savages the left reporters for targeting Dave Portnoy. There's quite a few tweets in there. And finally, the authors of the article, Emily Heil, married to someone named Hitler, and Tim Carman, the writers of the article, both protected their tweets after this because, they are so brave and, everything they do, they certainly can dish out the bullshit, but they cannot take the heat. FTG to those motherfuckers. Now, there's also another entity that's taking heat from the powers that be that want to censor whoever they want to censor. And I'm not too deep into this story yet, but this is interesting. Glenn Greenwald also notes that there's a campaign against Rumble. Remember the Adpocalypse YouTube when I think it was a Wall Street Journal put a hit piece out on YouTube, and then all of these others started piling on, and then you started getting all these rules and demonetizations and bannings from YouTube. Well, they're trying to do it with Rumble, but they're trying to shut down Rumble is my theory. Glenn Greenwald pointed out, not only is corporate media like the Associated Press predictably running hit pieces on Rumble for its crime of not obeying censorship orders of the neoliberal establishment, but British media outlets are explicitly threatening that Rumble will be banned from the UK under its repressive new law. This is, so he gave a couple examples. This is from the Times of London. Rumble, Russell Brand's free speech platform, may be forced offline. No. Oh, the platform. They're talking about they're going to shut down the platform for not banning Russell Brand, who has not been convicted of any crimes. He's been accused of some bullshit, and because they're not going to ban his channel, they're threatening to block his channel from the UK. AP, RNC live streamers partner for the GOP's debate is a haven for disinformation extreme. Is a similar type of article, but another hit piece on Rumble, not on Russell Brand, but they're doing hit pieces on Rumble. Rumble refused to shut down Russell Brand, and now the knives are out, just like they did with YouTube a few years ago. I can't emphasize this enough, Greenwald adds. The top priority of Western elites is internet control. The Snowden story was about online surveillance. Since 2016, it is about the censorship. One platform defying this regime will not just be maligned, but threatened with nationwide banning. It's how they work. It's how they work. They're going to do hit pieces. They're going to try to censor you. They're going to try to do whatever they can to control the thought of people on the internet. And it's fucked up, and fuck them. That's a little more pointed. Now, just one other tiny note here that I'm going to finish up with because it's time for me to get off the internet. Remember Project Veritas, the company that James O'Keefe founded? Well, they, as you know, they recently fired or removed James O'Keefe from the head of the project, right? The Project Veritas, and James O'Keefe went out and just said, you know what, fuck it, I'll just do my own shit. He's what's it called? OMG, O'Keefe Media something, OMG, O'Keefe Media Group, right? He does his own, going back out and doing his own reporting and his own investigations and stuff, and he's doing okay. A lot of people said when Project Veritas said, get the fuck out of here to him, most of the people who followed Project Veritas said, fuck you, we're going with him, right? Well, as may have been predicted at the time, as many people did, Project Veritas is now, they have now folded. They're done. Even though they've been doing some investigations since then, nobody gives a shit about them. And predictably, Project Veritas has folded without James O'Keefe. Now they're suing him. Project Veritas has fired all staff and ceased operations just 7 months after founder James O'Keefe was pushed out by the board of directors. O'Keefe, long considered synonymous with the Project Veritas brand, resumed his work with his new O'Keefe Media Group, OMG. Veritas, he says, has now sued him and blowing through the millions of dollars of cash on hand when O'Keefe left. Well, little financial mismanagement. Here's O'Keefe.
Hello, everyone. James O'Keefe here. So there was a loud banging on the front door. Loud banging. My colleague happened to be nearby and took a video of the door. You can see there a man. He was pounding on this door. My colleague didn't know what it was or who it was. So I'm going to go ahead and now.
He answers the subpoena live. No way.
What is going on?
This is great.
I'm going to open the door. Okay. Oh, look, there's a stack of documents if you just want to get this shot here on the bottom. It looks like there's a stack of documents here. United States District Court. Project Veritas versus James O'Keefe. Summons in civil action. A lawsuit has been filed against you. So this is apparently a federal lawsuit. On the doorstop there.
Damn.
Of a lawsuit of Project Veritas against me. So
hey, Chris Kroll, how you doing?
Project Veritas has attempted to serve a lawsuit against me on this day, September 21st, at approximately, I don't know when it was, earlier today. A lawsuit. They're suing me. The company that I founded, when I left, there was something to the effect of between $6 and $8 million cash on hand.
And now they're broke.
They've apparently spent all of it, raising almost no money at all since they ousted me. As my attorney said, Jeff Lichtman said, it would be great to know what they spent all that money on and what they hope to accomplish by asking a federal judge.
Well, they've shut down operations.
Me and shut all of you down. You must be wondering, what are the names of the lawyers who did this, who wrote this lawsuit? Their names are J.M. Woolman and Rendaza Legal Group. Rendaza Legal Group is the name of the lawyer who is participating in this lawsuit. We're not sure what these attorneys have to say for themselves, participating in an effort to silence journalists and get a federal judge to issue an injunction to shut me up and shut all of you down. It's unclear what Mark Rendaza and J.M. Woolman are thinking.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Good point, Lord Stanhope. Spite has always been a greater motivator than greed. Yeah, well, they brought it on themselves, right? Since James quit, donations dried up. Let's put this back on the screen here. Since James quit, donations dried up, said the source. They laid much of the blame for the collapse of Veritas at the feet of O'Keefe replacement Hannah Giles, accusing her of having lied to everyone, claiming she had all these donors she could bring in. Well, then whose fault is that? That's not James' fault. That's not James' fault that the money followed him. He was Project Veritas. And without him, who's going to keep giving them money? Why would you give them money? Now, I know Hannah Giles has done some pretty good work too, but whatever. That's not James O'Keefe's fault nor his business. They got rid of him. They don't, he didn't anyway. He didn't need him. Anyway, I see Raheem Kassam, editor-in-chief of the National Post, offered to purchase Project Veritas after it fired most of its staff en masse on August 17th, but it instead kept on a skeleton crew to try and raise funds, evidently without success. So that's Raheem's the person who publishes this publication that's talking about this. So I guess that's for full disclosure. So, hey, so sad, so sad, so sad. Too bad, so sad, whatever the phrase is, Project Veritas. You reap what you sow, motherfuckers. All right. Now, I guess all I have left to say is if you haven't shared the stream, it's not too late. You can share the stream tomorrow if you want. This is a pretty good stream. Or here's my suggestion. When you share the stream on YouTube, if you have a favorite segment that you want to share, you can use the button. There's a little, when you hit the share button, right, and it goes to the stream and it says you're going to share it, you can put the stream at that point in the show, and there's a little checkbox the little checkbox you can check and start the show at that point when you share it, and you can say, hey, we're sharing this part of the show. You don't even have to cut and paste it. All you got to do is click that button, and you can start with that segment, and then if they want to watch the rest, they can. That would be a great suggestion. If you thought I did a good segment today, I highly recommend doing that. And it doesn't matter where you share it. The link that, when you create the link, the share link, using that button, it'll automatically start at that point for whoever clicks that link. So that's another suggestion. I appreciate you all who share the show on a daily basis. I'd love to see the rest of you share the show also. If you, like I said, if you have a favorite segment, do that segment part. I guess the only other thing I have, how much fun does one need to get people drunk and get them to spill the beans? It probably takes some money, especially if you got, 40, 50 people doing it. Wait, FTG Katy Perry. What did Katy Perry do? Whoa, what? Katy Perry. Let's find out. Okay, we're not ending the show because I want to know what Katy Perry did. Is she in? Let me see. Let me look up Katy Perry here. I have no idea. Katy Perry. My keyboard stopped working. Come on. Oops. Katy Perry. What did Katy Perry do? Oh, by the way, when I was talking about Beyonce and Taylor Swift, a lot of people, Beyonce's a very popular artist, right? Has been for a long time. So is Taylor Swift. And I was looking at a list of the top selling artists since the year 2010. And I thought Taylor Swift would for sure be like number one or number two. She's not. The number one top selling artist since 2010. It surprised. I don't know why it surprised me, but it does. Eminem, 190 million units since 2010. Katy Perry, I think, was third. Beyonce was 10th. I mean, you know what? Okay, here's a question, and this is a serious question because you're looking at since 2010. Yeah, it took me forever to read that article. Anyway, here's a question, because this is a band that I don't understand. And so I'm going to do a little poll since I'm doing another story here as soon as I figure out what the fuck Katy Perry. Oh, because of Russell Brand. Let's find out. We'll find out about this. And she was married to Russell Brand for a while, which is doesn't surprise me. She's into some weird dudes. Anyway, okay. This is a simple question. Do you like the band Coldplay? Because they're like number 4 on this list of most units sold since 2010, and I can't figure out Coldplay at all. You know what? When I ever hear Coldplay, you know what happens to me? Because I mean, even Beyonce, I like her music. I just don't think she's the greatest artist in the world. I don't think she's the greatest singer in the world. She's a good singer. She's a very good singer, but it's not just ain't my cup of tea. And what's her face? Taylor Swift. She writes songs for lovelorn teenage girls. There was a funny video that someone was saying that Taylor Swift is the most popular person on the planet. And I was like, wait a minute. She can't even be in the top 10. You think she's more popular than Ronaldo or Messi or Michael Jordan or Donald Trump or Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or any number of people? You got to be fucking kidding me. No, she's not the most popular person in the world. And someone's like, oh, the most popular. She might be on the level of Beyonce, but no, she's not. I mean, there's so many more people. Anyway, Coldplay. I don't understand Coldplay. And what happens to me whenever I listen to Coldplay, the first thing that happens is I start getting sleepy because it's just like shit that puts me to sleep. I don't understand the appeal of Coldplay. Now, I'm not knocking anyone who likes Coldplay. Not everybody likes the same kind of music. But for some reason, I've never understood I've never understood the appeal of Coldplay, but lots of people love their music. More power to them, and I appreciate it. Real quick, speaking of appreciate, thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite. Welcome to the show. I didn't even see you drop in. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar, which I'll gladly clean up in a little bit later. On Monkey's show, he covered the Canadian Parliament, honored a real-life Nazi with 2 standing ovations. He fought against the Russians in World War II in Ukraine as a Nazi. They omitted. That's right. They sure did.
That's right.
And that's what about a good portion of the first half of this show is about. So if you want to as you watch the replay, you'll see that I was all over that. Thank you. So anyway, Katy Perry, Katy Perry, she was oh my gosh, wait a minute. She recently sold her entire music catalog for $225 million. Wow. That's interesting. I wonder if she's having some money problems, because she's doing American Idol and now she's sold her entire music catalog. That's interesting. She has some songs that if someone remade them too, she'd be raking in royalties, and I'm sure there's plenty of royalties with that. Did she spend too much money? So anyway, wait, what? They got some racist and biased white woman to rate a rap hip hop R&B album. Are we surprised? What? Okay, I don't know what that means. Katy Perry just sold her music catalog of $225 million. Her catalog includes 5 studio albums that she recorded for Capitol Records between 2008 and 2020. Well, whatever. Anyway, she's one of the people making abuse claims against Russell Brand. So that's why the F Katy Perry. The only reason I won't knock Air Supply is I need one to live. Lots of comments on Coldplay here. Let's see. Coldplay is just Radiohead in disguise. That's and let's see. At one point I did, but I stopped using Benadryl. That's good. Coldplay is the Wish Radiohead. Sure. Coldplay is the 2000 version of Air Supply. They aren't terrible, just don't appeal to me. Yeah, they're not. And that's it. They're not terrible, but I start hearing Chris Martin, his name. I started hearing him sing, and I start nodding off. There was a radio station here that played mostly like new age music, when I first moved to the Twin Cities, and I always laugh because my friend, they're based in this one mall downtown, and you'd walk through that to get out to the main part of downtown. And every time we walked by there, I would just start falling asleep while I was walking because the station put me to sleep. Well, that's how Coldplay influences me. Oh, this is funny. Here's a time when Katy Perry attempted to jump into the crowd, but the security guard would not let her go. Let's see this. I'm going to mute it because I don't want the music. I just wanted to show you. This is kind of funny, actually. Here's Katy Perry trying to crowd surf, and the security guard said, excuse me, Katy, we don't want you doing this. So he's not letting go. Basically has his nose in her pine parts. And he let her go, but he's like, no, bring her back. Nope. She's just in there in the crowd. They're all touching her and probably touching her ditties and shit. And he's like, oh, now she's lost her mind. She looked like she fucking lost her mind. Anyway, there you go. That's the pop music moment of the show, which I've had several already. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me today. Share the stream. Put your link your favorite part of the stream. I don't care. Do something. And I'll be back tomorrow. It's the Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central for viewing pleasure. And even though I may not be for your viewing pleasure, although I'm a decent looking guy. Yeah, no homo. Well, don't tell that joke. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for our sponsor today. Thank you, our superstar sponsor today, Chicago Mike in particular, but also Cryptic and Black Hebrew Israelite. Is that everybody today? Yes, that is. All right. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks. Gotta go. My name's P-Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Night. And thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here.